Thank you for watching and listening to another live edition of Inside the Pylon. Fidel Barraza here, alongside Chris Arzola and a special guest, Coach Hue Jackson. Coach, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good,
Good,
man. We
good.
appreciate you hopping on with us.
Yep,
Absolutely.
yep. Thanks for hopping on, Coach.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. So let's get right into it. We got, these matchups for divisional round weekend in the NFL. Some intriguing ones. Starting off with the Houston Texans visiting the Baltimore Ravens. This is a rematch from Week 1 of this season. Obviously, C.J. Stroud has played really great. He's probably going to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Coach, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think it's going to be a tremendous football game. Obviously, I think Houston has done a great job, not just offensively, but also defensively. I think right coach, right quarterback, right systems. They've come on like gangbusters. So they've done a great job. But Baltimore's at home. They're rested. Lamar Jackson, who probably will be the league MVP, is gonna, I think, play well. But it's going to be a battle of these young quarterbacks. It's going to be interesting to see.
Coach, have you seen a rookie quarterback, I should say, in C.J. Stroud play better than what he has?
No, I haven't. He's exceeded a lot of people's expectations. I knew he's going to be good, but I see his game even getting better. They've done, I should say, their coaches, the organization of how they've surrounded him, how they play to his strengths, how they capitalize on the things that he does extremely well. And I think their offense fits with their defense. They play together as a football team. So I think they got something great brewing in Houston.
Yeah, and me and Chris have been talking about the whole season that week by week it seems like he just got better each and every week.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's a lot of credit goes to Coach Slowick. He's done a great job of bringing him along. And when you look at it, they haven't spoon fed him. Like sometimes you see rookie quarterbacks and people try to play close to the vest. No, they're not doing that with him. They're letting it rip, and they're playing football, and he's making the plays, and he's done a tremendous job.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great thing for a rookie quarterback. And obviously, Coach, you can help me out with this. Just letting him play, right? Like you said, just letting him play, playing to his strengths. I said this very early in the year. I like everything that Houston did. Right, D'Amico Ryan's obviously setting the tone with the energy that he brings to the table. But not only that, I thought they surrounded CJ with a lot of B to B plus players. No stars, like no A plus players. But I thought all these guys that they brought in, they played football the right way, right? And they surrounded them around veterans, around young people. And obviously, you've seen obviously how it's become. They're way ahead of schedule. Nobody thought that they would be here to where they're at today. I think it's going to be a battle, like you said, and. Two-time MVP, possibly Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he's well rested. It's going to be a battle to the end for sure.
No, your points are well taken. I can't say enough how important it is to get the right people around a young quarterback. Whether it's coaches, whether it's players, whatever that dynamic is. I think a lot of people need to figure it out. Because that's not what's happening in Carolina. That's not what's happened in the past, but it's happening for this guy. And I think people need to really dive into why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Coach, with that being said, they are going to play probably the hottest team in the league in the Baltimore Ravens. And like you were saying, Lamar Jackson more than likely is going to be the MVP this season. What do you think it's going to take for Houston to win this football game?
I think what they got to do is play mistake-free football. When you think of the way Baltimore plays, is you're playing against a really good defensive football team too. Mm-hmm. So, the quarterback got to play great. They got to play great on defense and limit Baltimore's opportunities to score. And then obviously special team wise, you might give a little advantage to the Baltimore Ravens just because the kicker is just phenomenal. Yeah. They're playing at home. It's going to be one of those games. But for Houston to have a chance, they're going to have to play the best game they played all year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then also a positive note for the Ravens. Mark Andrews looks like he is questionable to play the football game.
Mm-hmm. So again, you get another weapon back for him,
right?
But the other young man that's been playing for him, 80. Oh my gosh, he's been
Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, I've always liked him, but he's making plays like you wouldn't believe. So that's another weapon they get back. He's an added bonus to this thing. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about a game that, let's be frank, a lot of people weren't expecting this matchup. Green Bay visiting the Niners. We saw what happened last Sunday in Dallas, right? Green Bay. Jordan Love, they played outstanding, and Dallas did not. They really didn't do much, and it really wasn't much of a game.
It was over pretty quickly. It was over pretty quickly. Yeah, it was over pretty quickly. I mean, they never really kind of got off to any start, and man, the Packers just capitalized and just kept their foot on the gas, and that's something I think you need to do in these playoff games. You got to keep your foot on the gas and keep going. And Jordan Love, week after week after week, has been progressing. Matt LaFleur has done a great job with him as well. I think progressing him over time for sure there.
Jordan Love, Jordan Love, Jordan Love. Well, what a tremendous game he played. But like you said, what a tremendous 6-7 weeks he's had.
Yes.
And again, we're looking at both sides of it. We just talked about CJ Stroud, who's a rookie and playing great, and the support he has. Well, let's look at Jordan Love and look at his history coming into the year, the season not starting as well. Everybody thinking, well, maybe this is not the quarterback. And then the ship gets righted and it's him. And he's playing like the old number 12 used to play for the Green Bay Packers. And so they have a formula too, so the guy sits behind a guy who's going to be a Hall of Famer, learns and grows, and give him the keys to the car, not give him too much as far as contract wise really early, make him earn it. And look what you have now. You got another guy that might be there for 20 years. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. And Coach, so as the previous matchup that we talked about, Houston and Baltimore, you have another young quarterback playing against a really good defense in the Niners. What do you think it's going to take for this football team to win this game?
It just, because they win. There's a lot of confidence in Green Bay right now, right? They just played the Dallas Cowboys, who everybody thought was a tremendous defensive football team. So I don't think they're going to be afraid to go into, San Francisco and go play this defense. And we know they're good. We know they're as good as there is. But at the same time, they just beat a really good football team, and the quarterback played well. He has to play great again. He's got to take care of the football. They got to be able to run the football. I don't think they can become one-dimensional. If they do, I think that's when San Francisco will expose you. But the key will be how well Jordan Love plays against San Francisco.
Absolutely. I agree on that. I want to touch real quick on something also that I've been thinking about. I think one thing that you kind of mentioned is that the Packers have obviously they're on a high, right? They played the Dallas Cowboys, a tremendous team. Dallas was, expected to come out with a win and obviously be, into the next steps here. I think that could also play a factor towards this game because the Packers are now already into a playoff game, right? They've already played a playoff game where the 49ers have kind of been sitting, kind of been, waiting. So you never know. I mean, the hot teams here in the playoffs, anything can happen when you're a hot team. And like you said, the past 6-7 weeks, Jordan Love has been playing absolutely phenomenal. And I honestly don't see it stopping here, with the 49ers. I think he's going to play an excellent game as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, too, I think, how you were saying, Coach, the running game is going to be key. I mean, that was one of the big things against Dallas as well. Aaron Jones being healthy finally, and he's running the football good. So, and they got some young receivers over there in Green Bay. Romeo Dobbs, I think he had a career day last Sunday against the Packers. You got Christian Watson. He's still coming off an injury, but look for him to be involved a little bit more. And then also the tight end Kraft. He is number 85. He is a big dude. And if he gets the ball, he likes to run people over.
No, he does. I just, to me, the outlier in this matchup is going to be Shanahan. I really believe that, and all those guys used to be on the staff together in Atlanta. It's really interesting when you think back through just that pipeline of coaches that came from Atlanta, and they've now sprouted off. They're all head coaches, but I think Shanahan will be the difference in this game. And as you mentioned earlier, just preparing, here comes Green Bay to play the game. I think Shanahan gets it. Whatever they did last week, I guarantee it's going to make them ready to play in this game this week.
Let's talk about the Sunday matchups now. Let's start off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Detroit Lions. One of the most interesting matchups in the weekend, to be honest with you, because you got one Tampa Bay team that was kind of towards the end of the season. They weren't playing good, right? You got Baker Mayfield, and they kind of found themselves. Defense played great against the Eagles on Monday. I know it's not saying much because the Eagles have been struggling as of late. But then you got the Detroit Lions. They had a big game against the Los Angeles Rams last Sunday. They won by 1 point. They're going to be hosting another playoff game.
You said it. Here comes Shake and Bake. Bake is he gonna play, and he He needs to play well. But when I look at Tampa going into Detroit, I know Tampa's defense will play well. They have tremendous matchups. Mike Evans, Godwin, the two young receivers that's playing well for Tampa now. So I think that's going to be interesting, because I think they're playing a little bit better than the Rams, right now. And I think they're a little bit overall better team than the Rams. So it's going to be interesting. But the grit, the toughness, who Detroit is, what they're fighting for, I think they're going to be ready to play. I think it's going to be a tremendous football game.
I'm excited for this one. I mean, I've been on the Baker train for, quite some time now, and I like the way he's been playing as of obviously recently. So, but again, Coach, I agree. The Lions at home, Jared Goff at home, the weapons that he has. I love, Amon St. Brown as far as how he's been playing and getting open and really just kind of dicing up some defenses. And I kind of see how that's going to, go as well. I like the running game for the Lions as well. And obviously their young defense, they've been playing outstanding. So I see this kind of going, either way. Really, I think it's going to really depend on how Baker plays and if he's able to distribute the ball, proficiently around to obviously these Godwins and Mike Evans and these other guys on the field. So I think it really depends on how Baker plays. But I think it's going to go an either way game. This is going to be a great matchup for sure.
Yeah, and it's going to be loud in Detroit. So silent count is going to be key.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're ready in Detroit.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about our last matchup for divisional weekend. You got the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes' first playoff game on the road against the Buffalo Bills. What you think, Coach?
Whew, that's a tough one. But it's Patrick Mahomes. He's still Patrick. He's still the top of the class when it comes to quarterbacks. Just his demeanor, his determination, his grit, his toughness, his leadership. He's been there. Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, and I just think the defense, is going to rise up. Again, the key will be if Josh Allen, doesn't turn the ball over.
Yep.
I think that's going to be a huge key, because the Chiefs will score quickly if he does. And that'll be the difference if they play head up. Where there's not a lot of turnovers, and we go play football in there in Buffalo. Buffalo has a chance, but if he turns the ball over, I think it's Kansas City's going to run away with the game.
Absolutely. And I agree. Like I said, you know what? Give me Patrick Mahomes until he gets beaten, until someone shows me otherwise. Give me Patrick Mahomes every time. I said it last week as well. I thought, the running game for the Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco, was going to be an X factor. Again, I see that going that way as well in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. It's going to be rugged. So I see Isaiah Pacheco having a big game again. Again, it's Patrick Mahomes. But I think for the Bills to have a chance, Coach, you already said it. It depends on, if Josh Allen can limit the turnovers, limit to what obviously, he can do. Obviously, I know he wants to do everything to help his team out, but if he can limit those turnovers, I think that's what's going to be best to keep him inside the game.
Yeah, and they got to get Stephon Diggs a little bit more involved too.
Yeah, they have to. He's he's a touchdown maker, and when he's playing well, great things happen for their offense. But they got some other guys too, that showed up this past week that made plays with the ball in their hand. And if I'm the Chiefs, I don't want Diggs to get off. I'm gonna do everything I can to shut him down. But it's gonna be interesting. Just again, I still think it just rides with Josh. Will he turn the ball over? Because he's gonna run with it and he's gonna throw it, and there's chances to get the ball away from him.
Yep. Yeah, and they are dealing with some injuries on the defensive side. Obviously, that's going to be that's not going to help out the cause for Buffalo trying to win this football game. But I do like Buffalo. This I've been calling this the revenge game. Right. Besides last season when they lost to Cincinnati, essentially it's been the Chiefs, right? That's been kind of holding Buffalo back, not making it to the Super Bowl. So I expect a clean, no turnover game from Josh Allen this Sunday.
They are, just by the way, this series is tied 3-3. So Josh Allen and obviously Patrick Mahomes going head to head, tied 3-3. So this is going to be a little tiebreaker right here. So we'll see how it goes on Sunday.
Yeah, a little bit different in the postseason though, Chris. Buffalo has not beat Kansas City.
No, they haven't. Yeah, for sure, have not.
Coach, let's talk about some NFL openings that we have currently. So a report came out today that Bill Belichick is actually scheduled for a second interview with the Atlanta Falcons in my opinion, if he were to get hired, probably be the best coach in that division. I just want to get your thoughts on the match. Um, I guess the relationship that you think Bill Belichick would have with the Falcons.
No, you said it. I think anywhere that Coach Belichick goes, he's going to be well respected, because of what he brings to the table. He's going to bring great coaches. He's going to bring a system. He's going to bring a culture of winning, because that's what he's done. I know the last couple of years hadn't been the way he wants it. Everybody says, well, he doesn't have Tom Brady. I get all that, but he's still Bill Belichick. So, and when they bring you in for the second interview, it's normally because they want you. They're trying to work some things out. So, I think it's going to be a marriage. I think he'll do a great job. And I think you said it. As soon as he walks into that division, he becomes the standard. And so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Coach, I have a question. So you mentioned, obviously, second interview, usually they want you. They're trying to shake some things out. Do you think that Bill Belichick is looking to come in and be the general manager as well with the Atlanta Falcons? Or is Arthur Blank looking to hire possibly a GM that's going to be working alongside with Bill Belichick?
I think it's the latter. I think he wants somebody that's going to work beside him and somebody who knows how he does business, right? And so to unseat somebody you have, to make sure you create that vacuum for this coach is sometimes hard, because the guy that's there has probably done a good job and you're paying him, but boy, this coach wants his guy. And so when you hire a coach, and that's what I get disappointed about, when you hire a coach, your job is to make him successful.
Yeah.
So whatever you feel like he needs, you gotta meet that demand to give him the best chance to have value for what you're paying for. So if I'm Atlanta, whatever it is that he says he needs, I'm gonna make sure he gets, because I got to do everything I can to have him win.
Yeah, Coach, in my opinion, the biggest issue that they have is the quarterback position. Obviously, Desmond Ridder, he was kind of hot and cold. Tyler Heineke's not it. So, in your opinion, do you think they should draft a quarterback or sign one in free agency, which there are a couple out there?
There's a couple out there, but I think it's a little bit of both, because can you get one early enough, where they're picking at? If you can't, then you got to sign one and still try to see if you can draft one as you go. But boy, if I can go find one who can come in and play for us and get this team over the hump in the division, where will this quarterback stack up between Baker and Carr, and the young kid from Alabama that's over at Carolina? I mean, those are the big questions you have to ask yourself. And there's some out there that probably do. So you got to make those decisions.
Coach, what about trading for a quarterback? Justin Fields has been the number one quarterback that's been rumored to get, traded essentially during the season and now during their offseason. I mean, as we know, they have the number one overall pick, and we probably know where that's going to go, drafting Caleb Williams at a USC. What do you think of Justin Fields?
I love Justin Fields. I struggle so much when I see these young, talented quarterbacks in the National Football League that are not flourishing the way we all think they will, because it's not the player. It's systems, it's coaching, it's all those things that go into it. We just talked about CJ Stroud and how happy we are because how things are working for him. Let's go back and see if we can surround. If I'm Chicago, it'd be hard for me to get rid of Justin Fields. And I get it, boy, if you keep him, you're going to have to pay him. I hear all those scenarios, but I got 2 top picks in this draft. If this quarterback can do it, I have a chance to take this football team to a whole different level with those 2 picks. But first, I got to get that right. The quarterback. What says if I draft Caleb Williams that I'm gonna get that right?
Yeah.
It's just a vicious cycle, right? So let's see what we can do to best help this player. Because where's the comparison between this kid, I'm talking about Justin, and anybody else in the National Football League? Well, he looks like RG3. I mean, he looks like my man Lamar Jackson. He can run the football. He has passing skills, but he hasn't elevated to that level yet. But can he? It'd be interesting to see.
In your opinion, are they giving up on him too soon?
Yes. I've watched the young man play. He can do things a lot of people can't do. And to me, he's very talented. And it's hard to get rid of talent, and you're going to let him go to play. Okay, we're going to go get Caleb Williams. I think he has talent, but is he more talented than the guy you have? I mean, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. And again, there's a lot of hype in Caleb Williams. We've never seen him play in the NFL, so who knows, right? But
We've seen him play in college, and we've seen when he gets hit, what happens. I mean, all these quarterbacks only got so many hits in their bodies,
yeah,
and then when you don't protect them and you don't surround them and give them the resources they need, then all of them don't play very well. So it's just what it is.
yeah. Hey, Coach, let's talk about Bill Belichick's old team, the New England Patriots. Gerard Mayo's now going to be the head coach there moving forward. Obviously, I don't know if you have had a chance to see the press conference. It just seemed a lot different than when Bill was. But obviously, just like the Falcons, the number one problem on that football team is the quarterback position.
Yes.
So what do you do with Mac Jones?
No, you have to. I mean, I understand that situation a little bit better. I think you have to go find a guy. Normally when you're a new head coach, you want your guy. You want a guy that you're gonna deem as being your quarterback that's going to get you to where you want to go. And so we know quarterback's an issue there, and I think they have to go trade for one, or they have to go find a way to get one in the draft. And now is the time for the Patriots to make that choice, whether it's trading up to go get one or going to find the best one in free agency. They have to get it done this year.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks, Coach. I mean, I wasn't expecting Pete Carroll to get let go by the Seahawks, right? I mean, obviously, he did tremendous work last year getting into the postseason with Geno Smith. And this year, again, if it wasn't for injuries, I feel like they would have made the playoffs, right? So obviously, Pete's not there anymore. Where do you see them going in this direction? Do you think Geno's still going to be the quarterback moving forward? You think they're going to go a different route? What are your thoughts?
I think it all depends on who the coach is. These coaches, they get that they're tied to the quarterbacks, right? And because it worked for Pete, don't mean it worked for the next coach, because it might be a totally different system. So would you lean a little bit more to staying with Geno because he's played some really good football? It's hard to find these guys, really hard to find them. But I would want to, but at the same time, who's going to be my coach? Who's going to be the offensive coordinator? What is that going to look like? And is any of these other pieces that are there at the receiver position from Lockett to Metcalf, do we have to move somebody? And so I think there's a lot of questions that's got to get answered here shortly.
Chris, what do you think?
And that's what I was going to say. Dan Quinn's come out as one of a top candidate, to take over that position there. And the thing that I was thinking about is, that to me that sounds like a lateral move, right? Going from Pete Carroll to Dan Quinn, coach. Why not look for something fresh, new? I guess one of these young guys that like a Ben Johnson or someone obviously that's targeted. Why not someone like that?
He's going to be the hottest candidate, I believe, whenever their season's done, because he's done a great job offensively, and people love to find the offensive coordinator. So I think Ben really is going to have the pick of the litter about the team. Everybody thought it was going to be Atlanta. I think that one will be off the table. Will it be Seattle? Where will it be? Because he's a tremendous football coach, but I struggle sometimes because what you see in these guys and those environments and the way they're able to make those teams do what they do don't mean that's what they can create someplace else. It don't just work like that, and I think people got to really understand sometimes these teams, they're special coaches that are around other coaches. And that's why you're able to do it because you can't do it by yourself. And so it's going to be interesting.
Let's talk about the Chargers job, Coach, before we let you go. So obviously, the number one name that's been, connected to the Chargers has been Jim Harbaugh, the head coach at Michigan. He was actually just interviewed this past week. And then also, I believe I saw David Shaw got interviewed as well. What do you think of the Chargers situation? I mean, obviously, we know Justin Herbert is a great talent. He's a great quarterback. So what are your thoughts on the coaching?
I think it's a great opportunity for the right coach. The fact that Coach Harbaugh got out of the building and there's no contract or there's no talk of the job being his, I don't think it's the Chargers and him anymore. That's just my opinion. The fact that he got out of the building in Atlanta, I didn't think that's the key. I really think he wants to go back to Michigan, personally. Yeah. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. But at the same time, I think that's a highly coveted job because of the quarterback, because of where it is. this guy's going to be good for a long time. And so the right coach, the right situation, I think what they have to think of, if I get a defensive coach, who is his offensive coordinator? Who are the offensive coaches that's going to be around him? If I get an offensive coach, does he coach quarterbacks? And those things are decisions that's got to be made within the organization. I think that's the key to getting the Chargers headed back in the right direction.
Also today, it was reported that Mike Vrabel actually interviewed as well with the Chargers. So, I mean, could be a possible fit there as well. I mean, you kind of mentioned it, where the location's at. Obviously, we are in LA. It's time to make a splash. Obviously, it's been a thing for many years. The Spanos don't spend money, right? They don't pay for the coaches, the top tier coaches. This is a year that we've never seen top tier coaches released at the like how they have been, right? So I think it's time for them to make a splash. Someone like a Mike Vrabel, a Jim Harbaugh. To me, it does sound like he does want to go back to the University of Michigan as well, coach. I do see that as well. Or someone like you said, like a Ben Johnson, a Brian Callahan, someone like that as well could be somebody that they're looking for, which they actually did interview as well. Kellen Moore, he's already in-house, right? And he is a young up-and-coming guy as well.
I know a pretty good offensive-minded coach that would be a great fit there in Los Angeles or anywhere to be.
Anywhere.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to have you back on here soon.
Yes. Thank you, Coach.
Hey, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. It's always great to be with you guys. Hey, best wishes. I can't wait to see how these games turn out. You guys keep doing a great job because you guys bring it. You guys bring it all the time, and I really appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone out there, for watching and listening. Enjoy the games.